Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome aboard Mama Sparks episode three. Three. I know how to count. We will continue to explore all things Walt Disney World. Welcome in. I am happy you are here. I am your host, Lisa. And specifically for today, well, let's take a look at what we are exploring. We're going to continue our WDW 101 series with an overview of Disney Springs and the two Walt Disney World water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. We'll also explore what lies beneath the Magic Kingdom and answer some commonly asked questions. Okay? But before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's open, per usual, with our Sparks notes for today. And Sparks notes are an anecdotal opening kind of monologue that I like to do to get us into the mindset that we're here, we're listening, we're learning, we're having fun, we're at peace. Okay, we're just gonna set the vibes, little vibe check. Okay. So please get settled, get cozy, get comfy, grab a cup of joe, whatever, what's your whistle, and let's get into our Sparks notes for today. The stories we stay for and the art of storytelling, really. There's something deeply human about a great story. It draws us in, holds our attention, and stays with us long after it's over. It reflects intention, patience, and care, shaped over time into something meaningful. If you want to understand storytelling at its highest level, you can look at the Walt Disney Company and the vision of Walt Disney himself. Walt approached storytelling with an unusual level of discipline. He believed that what you create is directly tied to the time and attention you invest. The output reflects the depth of the input. He didn't rush ideas, he developed them, tested them, refined them, and expanded them into something people could fully experience. When he envisioned Walt Disney World, for example, he wasn't thinking about a collection of rides. He was thinking about how people would move through a space, what they would notice, and how each element would contribute to a larger narrative. Every detail was intentional. The design of Main Street USA to evoke nostalgia and familiarity, the pacing of attractions like Pirates of the Caribbean to build tension and release, the ambition behind Epcot as a place built around possibility and progress. These environments required years of planning and execution. They were built to be experienced slowly with layers that reveal themselves over time. That level of storytelling demands attention from both the creator and the audience. And that's where the contrast with today's media landscape becomes clear. Much of modern content is designed for speed. It's optimized for quick engagement and rapid consumption. Short form video dominates attention spans, and the way people interact with content has shifted significantly. Research suggests some individuals now struggle to maintain focus on a single task for more than 9 minutes. Higher consumption of rapid, fragmented media is associated with increased inattentiveness and cognitive fatigue. These patterns shape how people process information. They may make it harder to stay engaged with longer narratives and more complex ideas. Storytelling, by comparison, requires focus. It unfolds over time. It allows for buildup, emotional connection, and resolution. When someone experiences a place like Magic Kingdom, they aren't just moving from one attraction to another. They are moving through a sequence of moments that build on each other all through the day. And the experience stays with them because they were fully present for it. That kind of impact doesn't come from speed or volume. It comes from depth and consistency. Walt Disney understood that people would value experiences that were thoughtfully constructed and carefully delivered. He built for engagement that lasts beyond the moment. Today, the challenge is different. Attention is fragmented and content is abundant. The opportunity is to return to principles that prioritize clarity, intention, and meaningful engagement. So, today, if I may be so bold as to prompt you, you have a choice. We all have a choice. You could spend the next 30 minutes of free time scrolling through a feed on Instagram, passively consuming whatever the algorithm decides to serve you. Or you could intentionally choose something that requires your attention: a long form podcast, a book, a thoughtful conversation, some form of story that unfolds over time. One option simply fills the time, and it's easy, right? The other builds something in you. And over days, weeks, and years, those choices compound into how you think, what you understand, and the depth of perspective you carry with you. So the question shouldn't be what's easiest in the moment. It's what you intentionally want your attention to become. And that, my friends, is your opening Sparks notes for today. Hopefully, it made you think a little bit. Obviously, that was the intention behind it. I do have to share that actually, this is the second time I've recorded this episode, and partially because of that Sparks Notes segment, because that was the original Sparks Notes that I had. And then I recorded, I went through Disney Springs and the water parks and some questions and stuff. And I initially published it on YouTube, and then within like 90 seconds, I pulled it down. Because in my gut, I was like, oh man. I like immediately knew, like I wasn't proud of it. It was rushed. So the quality, the output wasn't there. And I had this kind of like imaginary deadline in my head. I really want to commit to producing one episode per week, and I'm behind. But it wasn't good. So I scrapped it. And hopefully this time is much better. And when I, press end recording, I'm like, wow, that wasn't too bad. Maybe not a banger, but it was pretty good. Like I feel comfortable with sharing what I've produced. So that is the goal here today. I will pull my screen back up and let's start our overview together of Disney Springs to start. Here we go. And first, what I wanted to do was just, again, I've shared this before, but general Walt Disney World wide map so that you can position yourselves. When we're talking about Disney Springs, that area is in the lower right-hand corner of your map. Quite large. I mean, that area does include, there's resorts that are nearby, but just in general, you look at that as compared to the Epcot and Animal Kingdom, it's a significant area. Now, that's not real scale, right? This is a Disney characterized, I don't know, map. But yeah, it's pretty large. And within Disney Springs, there are 4 main areas or communities that we will walk through together: Marketplace, the original space, Town Center, the Landing, and West Side. Okay. And then we will jump over to our water parks. Just again, for frame of reference, Typhoon Lagoon is to the immediate left of Disney Springs. Their entrances are right across the street from each other. And then Blizzard Beach is a hop, a skip, and a jump to the left over from Typhoon Lagoon. So you'll see the next big one to the left is Hollywood Studios, and immediately following on the left is Disney's Blizzard Beach Water Park. You can see it's white, got a big ski lift there if you can zoom in. So that is the plan, and let's get started. So Disney Springs. And I'm going to attempt to share my screen to walk through the map a little bit, so don't get too concerned if you're viewing the squinty-eyed map that I have there. We'll get through it together, okay? So first, before we go into detail, let's just talk about how this happened to become, right? So for historical purposes, Disney Springs, what we know of that today, actually began in 1975 as the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village. It was a small lakeside retail area just built to service guests that were staying around Walt Disney World. So this was, I believe, about 4 years after Disney World itself opened, 1975. Over time, that expanded and evolved, of course. The next iteration was called Disney Village Marketplace, and that was around the late 1980s. They added some more shops and dining. And then it evolved again in the 1990s into downtown Disney. And downtown Disney is when more of the larger entertainment venues filled the area. And they also introduced a more adult nightlife district that was called Pleasure Island. Okay, I mean, come on. Pleasure Island, very adult nighttime district. Um, and so that was, majority of the 90s going into the 2000s. It's downtown Disney. It has this nightlife district. And then in the late 2000s, late like beginning of the 2000s, Disney gradually moved away from the nightlife focused model. They realized that, the balance there was not matching what guest preferences were. So they started planning a redevelopment. And then between 2014 and 2016, they kind of reimagined the space and it was reintroduced as Disney Springs that we know today. Today, Disney Springs includes over 100 shops, dozens of restaurants, like so many restaurants, lots of food, live entertainment, lots of like themed walking areas, lots of walking if you're going to go the entirety of Disney Springs. And it's grown into a central destination within Walt Disney World. So it does offer a mix of experiences that appeal to resort guests, daily regional visitors and guests of all ages. Okay. So one thing that you'll note if you've been reading ahead on the screen is it's free, and we love free at Walt Disney World because it costs a pretty penny to go and enjoy, right? So there is no cost to entering Disney Springs. It is free parking, and there are various parking garages or surface level parking. Transportation, of course, this is accessible via the Disney bus system. So anywhere you're staying on property, or even if you happen to be at a theme park or something, you can hop on a bus that will take you to Disney Springs. I would say in general, a tip, the best time to visit would either be in the evening where there's a whole lot of ambiance, things light up. It's really fun to walk around and enjoy the sights, or weekday mornings for lighter crowds. On the weekends, crowd level intensifies a little bit. You get more of the regional base that's out of work and school. So either weekday mornings or evenings would be my personal suggestion. And I would say you need 2 to 4 hours minimum. It could easily be a full evening depending on what you're looking to do. But hopefully this content helps you decide what that would look like and plan accordingly. So starting with the marketplace, this is Disney's original Disney Springs area. And I would say the feeling, the vibe of this district is very classic Disney and family friendly. So I have a couple of photos up on screen. I think the headliner here is the World of Disney store. And this is actually the largest retail Disney store in the world. Is, I believe, an accurate statistic that I saw as I was researching. So huge. I mean, you can find almost any Disney World retail item that they sell in places around Disney World in that shop. Like if you think about resort gift shops, typically all of that kind of stuff is standard to be within World of Disney as well. So this is a good place that I would recommend if you are stopping at Disney Springs towards the end of your trip and you want to grab some souvenirs, bring some gifts back for family members or friends at home. Really good spot for your last stop shopping where you can find a good variety of retail items that are available across Disney World. Once Upon a Toy Story is a really fun toy shop. They do have a couple of attractions for children in this district. There's a carousel. There's also a little train ride that they can get on and go around a kid-sized train track. By no means a roller coaster, just very simple. Um, and some dining as well. We've got dockside margaritas is a picture I have on the lower left-hand side that's very popular. You can grab a little, go up to the little margarita kiosk stand area and get your margarita to continue your day shopping and exploring. We've got Rainforest Cafe pictured on the other side of the screen here. A big hit with my family. My 6-year-old son is obsessed with Rainforest Cafe, and I think this might partially be why. When he was 15 months old, we took him to this Rainforest Cafe in Disney Springs, and I have his reaction on video of the first time the thunderstorm came through, and it was adorable. And he's been kind of obsessed to some degree with it consistently since, and he's 6 now. So we'll actually, when we go back in about a month or so, back to Disney, we'll be going back to this Rainforest Cafe. But I digress. Another big headliner within Marketplace is the Lego store. And there are plenty of life-sized Lego masterpieces on display in the area, one being our dragon friend here in the water. So make sure you check that out. If you have Lego builders, Lego enthusiasts, the store is quite large. You can build a custom little Lego caricature of your own design. So that's fun. And there are plenty of Disney themed merchandise and specialty shops in this area. Is there anything I'm missing on that piece? Let's talk a little bit of the dining options in the Marketplace space. Earl of Sandwich has been there a very long time. Great sandwiches, a little cafe kind of vibe. We talked about Rainforest. There's a Ghirardelli or Ghirardelli. I still don't know how to pronounce that properly. But that name. Soda fountain and chocolate shop is there. Smells amazing. We talked about Dockside Margaritas. BB Wolf Sausage Company is over there. So this I would recommend, start your day there if you're going in the daytime, and then you're going to work your way down. And when you think about too, I was talking about storytelling and the narrative of a space within Disney World. I do get the concept that that's kind of how the landscape of Disney Springs in general is designed. Let me actually see if I can pull up my screen share here. I think I can. I can. Okay. This is my first time sharing my screen. So this actually is just a view of the map, kind of similar to what we were looking at before. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so we can orient ourselves. The Marketplace area is like this hub up here. And then as we work our way down, so this is like starting in the daytime or in the morning, and then as you work your way down through Disney Springs in general and end up land all the way at the end in West Side, that's your like nighttime entertainment area. Okay, so it kind of works your way down from morning to night. Sometimes I was on the Disney World map within their website, but Google Maps is also good to get familiar with an area. I mean, you guys probably already know this, but sure, let's look at it with the train, shall we? Are you gonna? Oh, there we go. Let's look at satellite. That's fun. So we can orient ourselves a little bit more. Oh, I see dockside margaritas. Okay. So there's a couple of entrances over here. Once Upon a Toy Story, the Spice and Tea Exchange. There's your rainforest. There's that train that kids can ride. I think we have to zoom in a little bit more to get some more detail. Pearl Factory. Ooh, that's fun. You pick up pearl. They have that in Epcot at Japan as well, but that's always a fun souvenir thing. You can see the train track, Disney's Pin Traders, the art corner. So lots of art available. Goofy's Candy Company. Lefties, the left-hand store. There's restrooms. Marketplace snacks. There's that Ghirardelli is here. There's a Disney Photo Pass studio here. So if you are taking advantage of the memory maker, magical memory maker, I think it's called, there are Disney cast member photographers here. And there's a variety of backdrops that you can choose from and go use your photo pass over there. Crystal Arts by the Arabus brothers are available there, as well as within Magic Kingdom. But if that was too dense, too packed, and you're at Disney Springs, you can shop the same type of available items there. Bazin cosmetic stores. Marketplace Valet is marked here, but I did read that the valleys have since been closed, so that's a little bit conflicting. Maybe Google Maps is just wrong. So this giant building right here is World of Disney gift shop. And then there's a Starbucks. Give the parents all the caffeine and the margaritas, and then they go shopping for their kids. I'm speaking of caffeine, guys. Sorry, I'm like my fourth cup in my classic Disney World mug. So yeah, World of Disney is very large, and all these little branches of building are kind of themed. So it feels like a bunch of shops intertwined, all a part of a big unit. Emirates Patisserie, Daily Poutine. The Lego store is the big circle there. Different clothing shops. The Polite Pig barbecue restaurant. Levi's. Harley Davidson. Okay. So this is the gist of the marketplace, though, the original area. And if I zoom back out again, so it kind of goes along this circle here. And there's this bridge skyway here. Here's swirls on the water, ice cream. There's a lava lounge bar outside where you can sit outside by the water at Rainforest Cafe. Here's that BB Wolf Sausage Company. We got the Lego store. So this is what is considered the main marketplace area. And we will talk about parking garages and parking lots later, but you can see there is one parking lot here. Can be difficult to get into though. Okay. So next we will go down. I'm actually going to switch back. There we go. We're heading down left. I guess that'd be west, southwest, into the town center, which is the most recent addition to the Disney Springs area in general. It's designed as an open air retail district. It has more of a contemporary layout, and you can see Spanish inspired architecture, which is pretty typical of any, shopping area, Floridian shopping area, with that kind of architecture. Here you'll find national and international retail spaces like the Apple Store, Zara, Sephora. So lots of big, global is the word I was looking for. Global and national retail brands are here, which is good to know. I mean, yeah, I can go to Sephora 10 minutes away from my house, but it's good to know that it's there. And maybe I'll be in more of a spendy mood. I could count that as a souvenir, right? If you're not like a Disney sweatshirt, Disney earrings kind of person, and you want to get a lipstick at Sephora that you purchased in Disney World, you could do that. Or if you need a new iPhone or your kid wants, I don't know, iPad, whatever. It's there. And it is nice. It's new. It's relatively new, beautiful. Also dining available. We've got Deluxe Burger, Chicken Guy, Frontera Cucina, The Polite Pig, Daily Poutine. So some options for food and snacks here as well. I'm gonna take us back to our map. I do find this handy dandy. All right, so we've left the marketplace area and we're getting into town center. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way. This way is town center. You can tell by the architecture, right? So if I zoom in a little bit more, there's the Polite Pig, Vineyard Vines, Under Armour, Love Pop, Ron John Surf Shop, Super dry, stands, Disney Ever After. Anthropology. Over here, everything but water. There's the Sephora, the Cost Coach, MAC Cosmetics, Zara, Lululemon, Kate Spade, Free People, Tommy Bahama, Rothy's, Free People. So yeah, you get the idea. Just following the little terracotta roof line, we can follow that whole town center area. They do have a little entrance over here, entrance over here. You can see, actually, this is kind of handy dandy with the map. You can see outside of town center, this is one of our bus drop zones for all the Disney buses. So coming off the bus, you could get off at this stop and hop right into town center. There are 2 different bus drop areas, so that's one. I think the other one is actually up here by Marketplace. Yeah. The other one is over by Marketplace. And we'll talk about parking and things like that later. I'm going to get like way too involved in the map and like forget you guys are here and just totally blow the entire episode. But hopefully that gives you an idea of town center. I did have, Coca-Cola is also there. Coca-Cola store has a rooftop beverage bar area, which is pictured on the lower left of this slide. So that's fun. In the middle is a picture of the patisserie. And then deluxe burger. There's a huge whopping burger that would feed my entire family of 5. Well, maybe me and the kids. Family of 4, me and the kids. That looks delicious over on the lower right. So yeah, still kind of daytime vibes, high-end, beautiful Floridian daytime vibes. And let's keep going. So from the town center area, we move into the landing. So the landing centers around waterfront in general, and it's known for more of the restaurants and starting to get into that evening atmosphere. So you're going to find like, wine bars and fine dining. There are a couple of attractions. So let's go back because I do find this very useful. You guys have a couple of photos on screen here. But now let's jump back into the map to orient ourselves. So I mentioned the landing is basically surrounded by water, right? You can see that now here. We've got the main bay out there, but then there's also this water aspect running through. And this area is what we deem the landing. So kind of more on the outskirts this way. So if you were coming from Marketplace, it actually kind of becomes a decision tree, right? You leave the Marketplace area over here, and you can either choose to go into Town Center with the shopping, which would be to your left, or you can choose to go to the right and leave Marketplace and enter the landing. So now let's take a look at all that there is to do and see over the landing. We have this big paddlefish restaurant that's on a boat. Beautiful. It used to be called something else. I can't even remember what it was called. But I've never dined there. My parents have. I haven't, but it looks really cool because you're on the boat. Got some more shops, candy store, Happy Hound pet store, Crooks of Dublin. Over here, kind of in the middle, I've got Raglan Road, Irish Pub, and they also have an entertainment venue. There's lots of entertainment available around here. We've got the Basket, looks like a bar. We've got ice cream shop, Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company, restrooms, of course, hats. The Boathouse, seafood. Oh, I thought that's what the boat was called before, the Boathouse. I guess it's something different. They're independent. Boathouse restaurant here. The Boathouse does have that forget what it's called now, but it's a boat that looks like a car. That's one of the attractions on this side. You can rent one of those little. They probably have one pictured out here. One of those little boats. Jack Lindsay's Hangar Bar and Grill. This one is known for its ambiance and theme and vibes in there, so that looks super fun. Gideon's Bakehouse, Savannah Bee Company, Paradise 87. So a couple more shops. The Edison over here, Fancy Schmancy, looks good. Maria and Enzo's, Pizza Point. There's a steakhouse. Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar. That sounds fun. Chef Art Smith's. So yeah, lots of dining, some fine dining, some fun themed dining, all available over here. I'm gonna go back to my deck. So I just put pictures of a couple of those restaurant choices for you on this slide. Let me make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to mention on the landing before we keep going. Wine Bar George, that's another good one. I think we covered most of it. So landing, we're starting to get into evening, nighttime. Then if we continue on, we'll be in West Side. West Side is more of that large scale entertainment and attractions. You'll find things like the AMC 24 movie theater. They actually have 24 theaters within this complex. So if it's raining or it's freezing for Florida, you have some downtime, you want to catch a movie, you can do that there. Splitsville, Luxury Lanes features bowling and dining. That is available. We've got Cirque du Soleil, which is like a Broadway style acrobatic circus type show. Quite high quality, well done. That is available. We've got House of Blues with live entertainment as well. We have Planet Hollywood. I don't even know how many Planet Hollywoods are still around these days. I don't know if it's many, but that's always fun. You get to go see some props and costumes and memorabilia from icons in Hollywood. So West Side is coming into your big, epic, large attraction experiences and nightlife. Let me go back to the map. Bear with me, guys. I mean, I like showing the map, but I feel like the transition, I'm not just quite there yet to be like, it's seamless. I hope that wasn't too loud. All right. So, orienting ourselves. We just took a look at the landing. Back up a little bit more. So landing is like this area here. We're moving down to West Side, which is going to be like all of this area. You can see the Cirque du Soleil tent over there. So let's focus in and drill down. Oh, another Starbucks. Gotta stay awake, people. Look alive, look alive. Get that energy. We gotta keep going. Okay, there's a Haagen-Dazs. Yisaki kiosk. Ooh, we can get some Japanese sake. I didn't even know that. Oh, that's just a different icon. Exposition Park. Okay, so there are little shop. Well, maybe not. I'm trying to remember now. Maybe not. There's the AMC theater. Sorry, I'm having a conversation with myself in my brain, and sometimes some of it slips out. So there's the AMC theater, and we have the Starbucks, Salt and Straw ice cream, McGuffin's bar. Glazed donuts and cold brew. Here's the Splitsville. Zoom in a little bit more. Splitsville. Pepe by Jose Andres. Spanish restaurant. M&M's store. House of Blues concert hall. Quite large. It's fun, obviously. Lots of live music. I have a terrible story that comes to mind. House of Blues, yeah. Should I tell it? It's kind of morbid, but it will never leave my mind. So speaking of Disney World experiences and stuff, for those of you that haven't been with me long. It's only my third episode. I have a relative that works for Disney, and my family I grew up going there since the fifth grade on. We would go multiple times a year from Michigan. And we go often for holidays to, be together as a family. And I will never forget a Christmas trip um, where we unfortunately found out it was like breaking news that someone was found deceased at House of Blues. And it affected me. I mean, I was probably like 10, 11, 12. I don't know, but it still stays with me. I was like totally creeped out by it. And then we went to downtown Disney at that time. I was like, oh my gosh, like morbid curiosity. Where's the dead person? That sounds horrible. But so when I was researching for this episode, it actually like sprung up in my mind again, and I did a Google search and I found all about, what actually happened there. Not to worry, not to worry. You're not going to get unalived if you go to House of Blues. There was an entirely external cause to that unfortunate situation, but this is perfectly safe. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have shared the story, but I digress. House of Blues is there. You can have a lot of entertainment, and everybody is totally alive. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. City Works, American Restaurant. Here's our Cirque du Soleil. I think that covers the big stuff. Oh, I have to go back over here so you can see Planet Hollywood, big circle here. Oh, the Coca-Cola store is actually on the edge over there. So that gives you a good idea, I feel like. I mean, you'll get there, you'll walk it, you'll get it. You don't have to go into that many specifics. You guys are very, very sharp. So that's a general overview of each of the districts within Disney Springs. Oh, I do have noted here over on the right that a new experience is releasing. It's called Level 99. Let me actually just, oh my gosh, I'm tangled in all of my cords. Give me a second. Opening 2026. I should have researched this before. I don't know that we have an opening date. They said 2026, but I don't see a real go live date. Anyway, Level 99 is an interactive social gaming destination opening in 2026 at Disney Springs in the former NBA Experience Building on the west side. It offers over 60 physical and mental team-based challenge rooms, arena duels, and art hunts, along with a restaurant serving Detroit-style pizza and craft cocktails. Hey, Detroit. That's, I'm a Metro Detroiter. So I didn't research that in advance. Sorry, guys. But that's very exciting. Level 99 is coming to Disney Springs. I hope it happens in the next 27 days because then I could go check it out and let you guys know. So that's something to look forward to on the west side. But moving on, what we will touch on next is parking garages. I'm going to pull myself down for this so you guys get full viewing here. Okay, so parking garages at Disney Springs. There are 3. It's easier typically to get in and out of the parking garage than it is. Sorry. Than it is to do the surface level parking. So we'll start with the Lime Garage. This one is located on the east side of Disney Springs, which would be your town center area, as we mentioned and viewed. So this is entry points into the spring. So when you would park within the Lime Garage, you directly pour out into town center. You can actually see the picture of that over on the bottom right hand corner. Easy peasy. It matches that Spanish style architecture. There's your Lime Garage. So if you want to get to town center, obviously, or marketplace, Lime Garage is your best bet. Orange Garage is the west side of town center near AMC and the Coca-Cola store. It has 2 exits, so you can choose when you park in there. You can either dump out near town center or west side, which is by the Splitsville and AMC. So if you want to get to like the nighttime side of Disney Springs, then you probably want to park in Orange. The last and the least desirable garage is Grapefruit. And it's the last and the least desirable fruit, in my opinion. Grapefruit Garage is located across Buena Vista Drive. So it's separate from the main complex, but there is a pedestrian bridge near Marketplace and World of Disney where you cross over the road. So you got to use this if it's very, very, very busy, right? Nobody wants to park in Grapefruit. All right. That's just the reality. Nobody wants to be a grapefruit. You want lime or orange, not grapefruit. But if it's super busy and you need some overflow, and you want to avoid crowded garages but get into Marketplace, then that is your best bet. Okay, moving on. I think that's it for Disney Springs. I hope that gave you a good general idea if you're new to Walt Disney World planning or new to Disney Springs. My goal here in general is just to give you enough to know that you can take that away and prepare and research a little bit more on your side if you need to. So I will leave you with that for Disney Springs. Super fun, lots to do. We haven't gone in some time, so we are planning to go for an evening after a pool day on our upcoming trip. So I am excited to go and report back how it is as of late. Moving on to water parks. So I mentioned, I believe, in our previous episode that a part of Disney's recent promotion package for a Disney World resort stay is that I believe it's May through September, for example, for this summer promotion. When you book a qualifying, I think 6 night resort stay, I think it's six. Correct me if I'm wrong. I won't stake my life on it. But essentially, when you book a qualifying resort stay, you get free access into a water park of your choosing on arrival day. So that's a nice benefit. I think this is the second or third summer that they've offered that promotion. We are actually not taking advantage of it just for the sake of sanity, I would say. We would have time to do it, but I have a 6 year old, a 4 year old, and about to be 1 year old, and that's just a little too much for me. But nice bonus for other guests if you're waiting for your room to be ready. If you have an early arrival into Orlando, you can, pack your swimsuits and your carry-on and just head over to a water park. So we'll start with a little Blizzard Beach overview. Let me just pull up my notes here. Blizzard Beach opened in 1995, so it is the latest, even though 1995 is 30 years ago now. It is the newest water park, and it's themed as if it is a melting ski resort in Florida after a freak snowstorm. Okay. Typically operates 10 to 5 or 6. Sometimes they can extend to up to 7 to 8 p.m. during peak time in the summer, but that's not consistent. So typically 10 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. Um, let's see. The big attraction here is called Summit Plummet. It is one of the tallest and fastest body slides in the world. It's got about a 120-foot drop, and your body can go about 60 miles per hour as you're plummeting down the Summit Plummet. So not for me, obviously, guys. I just turned 40. Okay. I sneeze and I ache. I can't risk it. I cannot risk plummeting 60 miles per hour down a 120-foot drop. It's just not for me. Plus my anxiety. I have to have a sense of security. And as I've talked about with Tron, I did not have that feeling, that sense of security. And so I thought I was about to legitimately die. Imagine just my own little self, nothing to hold on to, plummeting. No. But that being said, great for thrill seekers and water slide enthusiasts. So that's the key feature here. You do ride a chairlift up to the top of the mountain before you take the big plummet. Mount Gushmore is another mountain available. It's a central mountain with multiple thrill slides that you can go down. They've got a family raft ride, a couple of those, Slush Gusher, Teamboat Springs. They do have, as you can see on the map here, Cross Country Creek, Lazy River, Cross Country Creek. I couldn't say that 10 times fast. But that is available, of course. Any good water park has to have a lazy river so you can just chill and float. Um, they do have general swimming areas. Like if you don't want to do this a slide or a raft or a river, there are relaxation areas where you can just kind of wade along and float and enjoy. They do have a wave pool, which you can see the largest kind of pool area, sort of lower right hand side of the map. Um, so there is a wave pool, which wave pool is the signature attraction at Typhoon. This is nowhere near the size of the wave pool at Typhoon Lagoon. So Blizzard Beach in general is more thrill focused, vertical, slide heavy. Typhoon Lagoon is a little bit more family oriented, like slower pace and known for its wave pool. So let's jump into Typhoon Lagoon next. Typhoon Lagoon opened in 1989, so 6 years prior. It's built around a theme of a massive typhoon destroying a tropical island. It has the very same typical operating hours. I do want to mention that in off-peak months, so any time outside of the summer, the operating schedule will rotate. So you may not always see both water parks being open, and that is for them to adhere to their maintenance schedule. So they'll shut one down while they perform cleaning and maintenance on the other. And so it's kind of a rotation if you're not there in the summer. Just good to know. So you'll notice this is that giant wave pool. It is the largest in the world. Huge. Take caution before entering. If you've never been in a wave pool before, watch it actually happen first before you get in, particularly if you are small or you have small humans that depend on you. You have to be very aware of what's about to happen. And last thing you want is to not be prepared and to be pretty deep in there, like pretty far in, you're in trouble if you don't want to be thrown about. And you have to be aware of your surroundings. Like keep eyes in front of you. If you have like a linebacker or someone significantly larger than yourself and they're in front of you, just take note that they may lose control of their body and it may plummet into you. Okay? Speaking a little bit from personal experience. Don't be as naive as I was. The first time I entered this thing, I had no idea. My parents, no idea. My brother and sister, nobody knew what was about to happen. And then a noise went off, some sort of alarm bell, and I'm like, oh, there must be entertainment. And then you hear it, and then the gushing just comes, and then you panic. Um, so yeah, not to spoil the surprise for you. Please just be aware because you could actually, I think, get injured. I don't know. So that's the big icon of Typhoon Lagoon. There's that image you can see with a ship that's stuck at the top just for fun. That is a shrimp boat and it's named Miss Tilly. It's perched on the mountain. The overall vibe of Typhoon Lagoon is very like islandy, relaxed. Like you're stranded on this island after you got shipwrecked. They do have a lazy river as well. It's called Castaway Creek. Very beautiful, little relaxing lazy river. They have a water coaster style ride that's called Crush and Gusher. So that's fun. They have a family raft ride as well. And they do, similarly have more of like relaxing pool areas. None of these are going to feel like a pool that you would go to at your resort. But it is that pace of like, I can swim, I can sit in the water and just chill. So I think that's a good overview of Typhoon. What I want to do is just bring up a chart to compare the both of them against each other, and hopefully this is useful. Maybe you can take a screen cap. Some of these numbers are approximate, but it gives you a good idea. So Blizzard Beach, about 12 attractions. Typhoon, also 11 to 12. Both have 7 major slide attractions. but Typhoon has additional family and children slides. Blizzard Beach, so they've got the wave pool, Meltaway Bay, the lazy river, chairlift ride. They have two kids play areas. And then Typhoon, of course, that has the massive wave pool, also the lazy river. They do have a kids play area, like splash pad kind of area, and they have a surf lessons experience. So that's a distinction on the Typhoon side. You can actually body surf in the wave pool. It has that capability. So very exciting. Dining options we didn't talk about, but they both do have 9 to 10 different dining options. So there's quick service, there are snack stands and bar locations throughout each. The dining style at Blizzard Beach is more of a heavier comfort food, barbecue, burgers, and chicken, which to me is like complete opposite of swim apparel. Like that is the last thing I want to be consuming while wearing a bikini. Just saying, okay? But if you don't care, you don't care. Disney vibes, I'm here, I don't care. I'm eating my barbecue in my bikini. Maybe. Um, Typhoon is a mix of comfort plus lighter tropical options. That's totally more my style. If I were a Disney World water park, I would be Typhoon Lagoon. Signature food at Blizzard Beach is mini donuts. Signature at Typhoon is Dole Whip. Again, sold. If you don't know what a Dole Whip is, you'll soon find out or Google it, or I'll tell you eventually. Tropical drinks and standard typical operating hours. Sorry, I have an equal sign typo on there. Theme vibe we talked about. The shopping, they do both have one main store and then small retail kiosks. So there's a little bit of like souvenir-ish things, but there's also, towels and sandals and stuff like that. Sunscreen, of course, they're going to have. So shopping, but you're not really there to shop, but there are some shopping stores available. And we kind of talked about their standout features. So I think that kind of covers it. Let me take myself down out of kindness. If you would forgive my random equal signs posted through there, but if you do want to take a screenshot of that, it is available to you. Okay. So a couple of things, housekeeping notes when it comes to water parks as well. There are lockers available. So if you need dry storage to put your phone, your keys, anything like that in a locker, you pay for that. You can rent, and it's a different cost depending on the size of the locker and maybe the time length. I would have to double check that. But those are available. There's restrooms and showers, of course, and towels are free. So you don't need to pack your own towel to go enjoy one of the water parks. And I think that's it in terms of water park overview. Would love to hear from you guys. I really look forward to hopefully this show taking on a live form in the future so we can all level up and have some real dynamic conversation and engagement. I would love to hear from you guys that have been to any of these things recently. Always welcome comments. Always welcome emails. I will throw this up here real quick. You can email me if you don't want to comment on where the content is posted, mamasparksshow@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Also, I wanted to note when it comes to housekeeping, I'm not always going to be accurate, and I don't claim to be. Like, I'll give it my best effort, but please feel free to correct me. Please be kind. I am just a one-person show. I'll give it my best effort to present accurate information to you all, but sometimes I may get it wrong. And I do have a correction on a past episode. I think I had the perception that at the Magic Kingdom there was a more limited availability of alcohol. I thought that the first restaurant to have it available was the Beauty and the Beast dining, and that the second, or sorry, maybe first, maybe vice versa, but basically Beauty and the Beast restaurant, Cinderella's Royal Table, Skipper's Cantina, and then now the new Beak and Barrel. But I stand corrected. It is available at other sit-down served dining. So where you have a server, a designated server, and it's a formal sit-down environment, it seems to be available. So places like the Crystal Palace, Liberty Tree Tavern, those restaurants as well, um, should have it. So I was wrong on that note. I had to offer that correction real quick. It's not as limited as I thought it was. Okay. But I think that's it for general housekeeping. We do have a little bit more to get into if you want to stick around. I have one more little tidbit. Tidbit. Why do I use the word tidbit all the time? I don't know. A moment of trivia. And we're going to expand on this in the future. But I wanted to talk about what lies beneath the Magic Kingdom. Okay. So when Disney began construction in the late 1960s, the land was low-lying, it was prone to flooding, and it was sitting near the natural Bay Lake, which you see in this picture. To solve multiple challenges at once, Disney made a genius decision. He decided to dig the massive Seven Seas Lagoon and use that dirt to build the Magic Kingdom Park higher, which would help prevent the issue of flooding. So they excavated huge amounts of earth to form that Seven Seas Lagoon and kept all of that soil and put it down to elevate the area of Magic Kingdom above natural ground level. So that raised it from like its natural existence 14 to 15 feet above ground level. What they did next was they built the Utilidor tunnel system at that level. And then on top of the Utilidor tunnel system, they built the actual theme park in Magic Kingdom. So when we're walking around Magic Kingdom and you're walking down Main Street, USA, headed towards the castle, just know there's like a replica. There's not, it's like Stranger Things on the underneath. Um, it's like that kind of, but not as horribly terrifying, morbid. So there's a whole opposite underneath Magic Kingdom, which is the Utilidor system that cast members use to effectively traverse the park without being seen. So it looks kind of like a central circle hub, and then there's like spindles that mirror the lands of Magic Kingdom. And underneath there are, costumes and maintenance halls and supplies and networks of trash disposal and all things like that. So one of these days we might do a full episode on all the unseen things behind the curtain of Disney World and its functionality. But I thought that was fun for you guys to know today that as you're walking around Magic Kingdom, there's a wealth of people walking around beneath you and almost like a whole village that's operating. And the genius move behind this really led into Disney's whole water system and infrastructure, which is impressive. It's a very massive, robust, integrated system. So there are waterways and intentional ponds and retention and detention zones all across the entirety of Disney World, and systems that are designed to like slowly release water back into the natural bodies of water like Bay Lake, for example. So it's pretty impressive to think of the thought that went behind all of that and the infrastructure even back then as they started the original build in the 1960s is really interesting to me. So I hope you found that. If you didn't know, I hope you found that to be interesting as well. I think for use of time today, I went a little bit over what I intended to, so I will likely not get into any questions and answers for right now, but would like to kind of keep it a staple item if possible. So when we go and spin off into live podcasting, live shows, we can retain that portion. And I cannot wait to field questions and comments on the fly with you guys. So again, hope that was enjoyable. I hope I was tolerable as a host. I hope you feel like you have more of an idea of how to navigate those areas and what to expect. If you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, sharing, enabling notifications, any of that type of quick, easy click interaction that you can do on the content. It's a free way that you can help um, me and the Mama Sparks initiative gain some traction with the algorithm within YouTube. And also it'll help, notify you if you enjoy watching the content and want to see what's coming up next. If you're subscribed, you will not miss it. Or particularly if you enable notifications, you should not miss it. I do plan in future episodes to start incorporating more of our big annual Walt Disney World vacation trip preparation with you. As I said, I think we've got 26 or 27 days now. So it's coming up fast, and I'm working on our Disney bounding. If you don't know what that is, we can cover that. Finalizing, confirming all of our reservations and things like that, and shopping and packing, and it's very chaotic right now. But I'll start weaving more of that into our time together just to share with you what it's like getting ready for a 10-day vacation with 6 people. We'll keep you posted. But other than that, it's a wrap for today. I will leave you, as usual, with a quote from the man himself, Walt Disney. I hope you guys have a magical day, and we will see you soon.